See, I firmly believe that a yogi is more qualified, okay, to tell us what is the right thing to do so that our parents, the parents who are no more now, okay, what makes them comfortable, what gives them peace. I believe that a yogi can tell me better than a pandit who is performing some rituals, okay. Of course, the pandit or the Brahmin who does, the priest who does the rituals, he is also following some scriptures, okay? But that is it. And his knowledge is only book knowledge. Whereas when you come to a yogi, and we are all fortunate to have a yogi as our guru, I mean, he can actually communicate with our parents, right? Our deceased parents. He can see their state, where they are now, what they need now, and what can be done to resolve their issues, their problems in the afterlife. The yogi can actually see that. And he can also do whatever is necessary to take care of that. Okay. So, I mean, I'm bringing in this argument to tell you that I would rather go by a yogi's advice than go by the advice or the ritual suggested by a priest. Okay. So, this was my thinking right from the beginning. Okay. Now, my mother passed away at a very early age when she was just 42 years of age. And I was 22 years old at that time. Okay. So when she passed away in 1982, I was still at Hyderabad. I was still studying. I was doing my engineering there. But within a year, I completed the engineering and then I got a job in Bangalore, fortunately. Okay. So with Swamiji's permission, I came and lived at the ashram. Okay. I came and joined the company here in Bangalore and I used to live at the ashram. Just about 2, 3 days after I came to Bangalore to join my job, I had to go back to Bangalore, to Hyderabad, I'm sorry, to perform the first anniversary of the death of my mother. Okay, so again, I had to book my ticket and then go back to Hyderabad. Then I was there, I performed the rituals, whatever is to be done. And then I came back to Bangalore, continued my job here. And then, I mean, in our family, the tradition is that every year we perform the ritual of the parents who passed away. Okay. So my father used to perform the ritual, the annual ritual of his father and mother, that is my grandmother and grandfather. Okay. Now we had to perform the ritual every year of my mother. Okay. So the first year was over in 1983. And then in 1984, it so happened that my sister had come to Bangalore, my younger sister. So she was at the ashram with Swamiji and I was also at the ashram. Then the day was approaching when we had to go back to Hyderabad to perform the second anniversary of my mother's death. Okay. So one afternoon I was just sitting with Swamiji and then somehow my sister was also there. And then the topic came to my mother's anniversary. Okay. I mean, she passed away at a very young age, as I said. So, I mean, the attachment was still there. The grief was still there. Okay. So, I mean, the ritual was very important to us. We didn't want to miss it. So, whatever needs to be done to keep our mother happy, we wanted to do that. We didn't want to miss anything. Okay. So, I was talking to Swamiji and I was telling him that I am booking the tickets for myself and my sister to go to Hyderabad so that we can join the annual ritual of my mother's death anniversary. Okay. And suddenly Swamiji asked me, how many people do you feed on that day when you perform the ritual of the death anniversary of your mother? I just said, no, Swamiji, we don't have that kind of a practice there. Probably it was there in the olden days where all the relatives used to come and have a meal at the house where the ritual is performed. But nowadays, nobody comes there. Maybe one or two friends or relatives may join, but it is just us, just the family, that's all. There's nobody else who comes and has a meal as a part of the ritual. Okay. Then suddenly Swamiji, I mean, he was unhappy about it. He said, then what's the point? What's the point in going all the way to Hyderabad and then conducting the ritual if you're not feeding anybody? Instead, why don't you be here, perform the puja of your mother here itself at the ashram, and you can sponsor a mass feeding here. You can feed all the people at the ashram and all those who come to the ashram also. all the devotees who come to the ashram. So I said, Swamiji, yes, if you say so, definitely we will do that. And Swamiji was very happy. Okay. He said, okay, so go ahead and prepare to perform your mother's puja here, and let us feed as many number of devotees as possible on that day. Okay. So we immediately, I started preparing for that. And the puja was a very simple puja. We just put up a photograph of my mother in Swamiji's room itself. And then we offered flowers and fruits, kumkum and haldi to my mother. And we broke a coconut. And whatever prasadam was cooked on that day at the ashram, in the ashram kitchen itself. Of course, I asked for a special meal to be prepared. So that was offered to mother, my mother, okay, who passed away a year ago, 2 years ago, actually. Okay. Then after that, in the evening, we conducted an Annadanam, and about 30, 40 devotees must have come to the ashram that evening, and we served the prasadam to all those devotees. Okay. Then after that, after that feeding was over, then again we had a discussion with Swamiji. I did it on that day because that was the Tithi, the day as per the lunar calendar on which my mother passed away 2 years ago. So I had to do it on that day was my belief. So I did it that day, but unfortunately, that was not a Sunday. Had it been a Sunday, a number of devotees would have gathered at the ashram. Okay, because every Sunday there is a program and people come to the ashram in the evening for the bhajan. But that day was not a Sunday. So there were just about 30, 40 people probably who partook of the dinner that day. Okay. Then we had a discussion. I asked Swamiji, instead of doing it on a weekday like this, if I can do it on a Sunday, which falls immediately after, the day of my mother's death as per the lunar calendar or whatever, wouldn't it be better? Swamiji said, of course it would be better, because a large number of people will come and have the meal. Okay. And do one more thing. Don't go by the lunar calendar. On which date, as per the solar calendar, that is the English calendar. Okay. As per the English calendar, on which date did your mother pass away? I said the 15th of January. He said, the Sunday after 15th of January, you conduct the program on that day, you sponsor the Annadanam at the ashram, and you can feed all the devotees. So it was clear to me that Annadanam that is performed at the ashram is more beneficial to my mother who has passed away than the ritual that is performed at my home. Okay. So we decided that we are not going to Hyderabad henceforth every year, and we'll instead sponsor the Annadanam at Swamiji's ashram in Bangalore every year on the Sunday after my mother's death anniversary. And to this day, I am doing that. And I do the same thing for my mother, for my father, for my younger brother, and now I'll have to do it for my younger sister also. Okay, Didi? So that is the kind of importance or significance that Swamiji placed on Annadanam. Okay? And there are a lot of other stories. Some stories Yashoda Akka also shares with me, where Annadanam can bring a lot of peace to the deceased souls that nothing else can bring. No other ritual can bring that kind of peace, shanti, okay, for them. Okay, so this is my personal experience, and I was fortunate that I could get the guidance directly from Swamiji. Okay, and to this day, I continue that practice. I hope that is clear, Didi.
Thank you so much, Jagdish Bhai.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, this has really cleared a lot of stuff for me. One more thing, I just would like to ask the question. I'm sure people have thought about it, but never actually come. Do we always, when we come back, is it always in the same family that you get born, or is it somewhere else that you get born? No, seriously, this is.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I've got too many sort of questions and too much.
No, not at all, Didi. Not at all. Okay.
I'm just very much curious of Swamiji's answers more than anything in this world. So that's what I'd like to hear, really. Because he is the master. That was the most beautiful answer that he gave you to do that. The Annadanam, that is the most beautiful thing I know I have experienced. When I go out in the streets, where people are sitting and then I give Swamiji's prasad to them, you should see the smile. And then one of the guys now sits there every day. So whenever I go, he says, "Where's my sweetie?" He's just giving me, putting out his hand out and saying, "Where's my sweets?" I think it is a blessing. Thank you. Sorry, I'm not going to take your time. Please carry on.
Okay, Didi. So let me answer the question you raised.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It is very clear to me that if Swamiji wants, he can bring that person back into the same family. Okay. But then I know of about 3-4 cases. Okay. One is a saintly lady from the royal family who lived in Dehradun, and on Swamiji's advice, she took Maunavrata. So her name was Revati Devi, but because she is from the royal family, she was called Rajmata Revati Devi. And Swamiji used to call her Nagendra Swami. She used to get trance also. And because she was talking about the intentions of people, okay? I mean, if she comes in front of somebody, suddenly she will blurt out what that guy is thinking in his mind and all the bad thoughts. She would blurt openly about, "You guy, this is your intention, this is your plan, this is what you are trying to do," and all that. She would talk publicly in front of everybody else. So this used to embarrass a lot of devotees who used to come to the ashram, because she used to do it at the ashram also. So Swamiji had to put her in a Maunavrata, a vow of silence. Swamiji told her, "You are not to open your mouth. Because if I allow you to open your mouth, this is what you are doing. You are embarrassing all the people." What she said used to be correct, but that used to embarrass devotees who used to come to the ashram. So Swamiji stopped her, and to stop her, he put her in a Maunavrata. And that lady, Swamiji himself told me, that lady took that vow so seriously that when 2 guys came to kill her at her home, she used to live alone, and these guys went to the house, people known to her, and they were trying to kill her. She got killed. She got stabbed, but she didn't open her mouth. She didn't shout. That is the extent to which she kept her vow. Okay? So that is the story of Nagendra Swami. Then she passed away because she was killed. Okay? She was murdered. And then a few years later, Swamiji told us that Nagendra Swami is reborn. She was born to a judge who lived in Dehradun, and he used to come to Swamiji. And that little girl, Nagendra Swami, who was reborn as that judge's daughter, she started coming back to Swamiji as his devotee again. Okay? So it's not that you come back into the same family. Okay? And I know of other examples also. There is a boy in Bangalore who was very close to Swamiji, who is very close probably. Okay, but he used to spend a lot of time with Swamiji when I was with Swamiji. So this guy we know was a devotee in his previous life also. And he used to live in Bangalore, very close to the ashram. But he was not born into the same family. The whole of his family, okay, his sons, his daughters, his grandchildren, they're all Swamiji's devotees. They continue to come to Swamiji. But this person was reborn into a different family of devotees, and he returned to Swamiji as a devotee. Okay? So that's the second example. I know of 2 other examples. Do you know Adinarayana by any chance? I don't think you met him. Swamiji told us that he was reborn, okay, into his relative's family, not into his family, but into his relative's family. Okay? So that is the third example. Then we come to the example that I took earlier of the Agadis. It seems they came and begged Swamiji to give them a rebirth in their own family. So that is how they were born to their own sons. Now, that is why I say that Swamiji can bring back the devotee into the same family if the devotee wants to come back into the same family. So that's it, Didi.